Hello everyone. A significant number of adults over 60 in the US are regularly consuming foods that over time can quietly impact their heart health, blood sugar levels, and memory, often without immediate awareness. If you care about your health or someone in your family over 60, this video might offer crucial insights. Hit follow for more real talk from HEALZO. Now let's break down the truth behind 10 foods you should strongly consider limiting or avoiding, especially if you are over 60. Number 1. Processed meats. Hey, can I tell you something that might hit close to home? Imagine this. Your grandkid makes you a BLT sandwich, just like the kind you used to love back in the 70s. Bacon sizzling, the smell filling the kitchen, everyone smiling, you take a bite, and it brings back memories. But here's what we do not talk about at the table. Processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli ham are not just salty, they are packed with preservatives designed to stretch shelf life, not human life. These preservatives, along with their high sodium content, do not break down easily, and over time they can strain your kidneys, significantly raise your blood pressure, and increase the risk of something far more serious, colorectal cancer. Especially after 60, your body becomes more vulnerable. The older you get, the harder it is to clear out the waste these additives and high sodium leave behind. I have read from the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer that processed meats are classified as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning there is sufficient evidence that they cause cancer in humans. This places them in the same category of evidence as tobacco smoking and asbestos, though it does not imply equal potency in terms of overall cancer risk. That is not fear-mongering, that is science. If you already have a heart condition, high blood pressure, or diabetes, eating these meats regularly is like tossing gasoline on a fire. The sodium alone in a few slices of bacon can push your blood pressure into dangerous territory, silently burdening your arteries until one day it does not stay silent anymore. That is why senior health experts say, this is not just about food. It is about inflammation, long-term damage, and a higher risk of stroke or colorectal cancer. And yes, even if you have eaten this your whole life and turned out fine, age changes everything. Here is a better way. Try swapping processed meats with grilled chicken, turkey breast, or even seasoned tofu if you are cutting back on meat. Keep the sandwich, just change what is inside it. If you thought salty foods were the main problem, wait until we look at what sugar does, especially in drinks. Processed meats raise pressure, but sugary beverages quietly fuel disease from the inside. Number 2. Sugary drinks. Hello everyone, let us talk about something that might seem harmless, but is not. A single can of soda contains the sugar equivalent of about 9 teaspoons. That much sugar, all at once, enters your bloodstream faster than your body can process. For someone over 60, this sudden spike is not just a short sugar rush, it is a direct threat to your metabolic health. Sugary drinks are loaded with added sugars, especially something called high fructose corn syrup. This sweetener is cheap to produce and often used in sodas and bottled teas because it is sweeter than regular table sugar. However, here is the problem. It primarily overwhelms the liver. Instead of being broken down gradually, a large portion of it gets converted into fat, particularly around your abdomen and within your liver itself. This process contributes significantly to insulin resistance, one of the root causes of type 2 diabetes. And if you are already living with diabetes, these drinks can push your blood sugar out of control in minutes. For older adults, that increases the risk of serious complications like nerve damage, kidney problems, vision loss, and cognitive decline. Over time, even small daily doses of added sugar can quietly fuel inflammation, which weakens blood vessels and significantly raises your risk of heart disease and stroke. According to what I have read from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, people over 60 who regularly consume sugary beverages are more likely to develop high blood pressure and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, even if they are not overweight. This is why senior health experts now recommend cutting out sugary beverages entirely, not just switching to diet versions. While artificial sweeteners may reduce calories, emerging research suggests they can disrupt your gut health and potentially impact insulin response as well, especially in older adults. The better option? Water with a splash of lemon, herbal tea, or chilled water infused with fresh fruit slices. It is not just about hydration anymore. It is about protecting your heart, brain, and circulation in the years that matter most. If you've been swapping soda for diet versions, I'm curious, how often do they show up in your week? Number 3, white bread and refined grains. Now picture this. You are starting your day with a soft slice of white toast or perhaps a pastry and a cup of coffee. It feels light, easy to chew, and goes down smoothly. But just an hour later, your energy drops, you feel hungry again, and maybe even a little shaky or sluggish. That is not just a sign of getting older, that is your body reacting to refined grains like white bread, pasta, and pastries, which have been stripped of the fiber and many nutrients your body needs to process carbohydrates slowly and steadily. Without fiber, these foods convert to sugar in your bloodstream almost instantly. That rapid spike can lead to a crash, and for adults over 60, that cycle can become dangerous over time. See, as we age, our insulin sensitivity decreases, meaning your cells are not as responsive to sugar, so your body produces more insulin to handle it, but that extra work wears down your pancreas. The result? A higher risk of type 2 diabetes, weight gain around the midsection, and energy instability throughout the day. But it does not stop there. Low-fiber diets are one of the top causes of chronic constipation in seniors. Without roughage, the digestive tract slows down. Waste stays in the body longer, and that can lead to bloating, discomfort, and even long-term colon issues, especially in those with a history of diverticulosis or irritable bowel syndrome. So what is a better option? Switch to whole grain or sprouted breads. They help stabilize blood sugar and improve digestion. Even small swaps like brown rice instead of white or oats instead of white cereal can make a meaningful difference in how your body feels and functions. White bread leaves you hungry too soon, but canned fruits sneak in sugar while pretending to be healthy. If you rely on both for quick meals, your blood sugar may never catch a break. Number 4, canned fruits and syrup. Hello everyone, let us talk about fruit, the kind that hides more than you think. Fruit is healthy, right? That is what we have believed for decades, but when it is soaked in thick syrup and sealed in a can, it becomes something else entirely, a sugary trap disguised as a nutritious choice. Most canned fruits are packed in heavy syrup, which means spoonfuls of added sugar cling to every slice. This is not the natural sugar that is bound to fiber in whole fruit. This is processed sugar dumped in, not grown in, and for someone over 60, that makes all the difference. When you eat these sweetened fruits, your body absorbs the sugar quickly because there is little to no fiber to slow down the absorption of the added syrup. That surge stresses your pancreas, spikes your blood sugar, and pushes your insulin response beyond what aging systems can handle efficiently. If you already have type 2 diabetes or are on the verge, this can lead to more frequent blood sugar crashes, fatigue, and long-term organ strain, especially on the kidneys and eye. And if you are managing high blood pressure or heart disease, these syrups quietly work against you. The excess sugar contributes to chronic inflammation and raises triglyceride levels, which increases your risk of stroke or heart attack over time. What looks like a harmless fruit cup could be accelerating artery damage. Many seniors choose canned fruit thinking it is lighter than desserts, but in terms of metabolic load, it behaves more like a soft drink than a salad. I have read from the American Heart Association that older adults should limit added sugars to reduce cardiovascular risks. Yet a small can of peaches in syrup can contain over 20 grams of sugar, almost an entire day's recommended limit for added sugars in one serving for many individuals. That is why senior health guidelines recommend choosing fruit canned in water or its own juice, or better yet, going for fresh or frozen varieties without added sweeteners. The difference is not just in calories, it is in how your heart, liver, and blood vessels respond after every bite. Let me know, are canned fruits something you still keep in your pantry? Type in 4 if they're on your shelf right now. Number 5. Margarine and vegetable shortening. Hey, have you ever swapped butter for margarine thinking it was the healthier choice? That is what many people over 60 were told to do back in the day. It was marketed as heart-healthy, low cholesterol, and modern. But here is the truth. Margarine and shortening are less like food and more like the result of a chemistry experiment. These spreads are made by taking liquid vegetable oils and forcing them through a process called hydrogenation, which turns them solid at room temperature. This process often creates something called trans fats. Now, I will not get too technical, but here is what you need to know. Trans fats are artificial fats that your body does not recognize. They can accumulate in your arteries, raise your bad cholesterol, lower your good cholesterol, and quietly damage the lining of your blood vessels over time. For seniors, this is even more dangerous. As you age, your blood vessels naturally lose some flexibility. Add trans fats into the mix, and your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and memory loss climbs significantly. I have read from the American Heart Association that trans fats have no safe level of intake, meaning even a small amount daily can increase your chances of heart disease. And let us not forget inflammation. Trans fats trigger a low-grade, ongoing inflammatory response in the body. That kind of inflammation is directly linked to joint stiffness, further blood vessel damage, and even early cognitive decline, all major concerns when it comes to senior health. If you have been using margarine or shortening to bake or spread on toast, it is time to rethink. Go for real butter in moderation, or better yet, use healthy unsaturated fats from sources like olive oil, avocado, or nut-based spreads. These healthier fats support brain function, circulation, and can help keep your arteries clear, giving your body something it can actually use. If you worry about fats like margarine, you should also look at how we heat and store snacks. One goes on your toast, the other hides in your movie night, both quietly affecting heart and lungs. Number 6. Microwave popcorn. Hello everyone. Imagine this. You are winding down after dinner, perhaps watching a movie or catching the evening news. You toss a bag of popcorn into the microwave, wait for the familiar popping sound, and in just minutes, you have got a warm, buttery snack in hand. Seems harmless, right? But sometimes the concern is not just the popcorn, it is the bag and the artificial ingredients. Microwave popcorn bags have historically been lined with special chemical coatings, often containing per- and polyfluoral alkyl substances, to prevent grease from leaking. When heated, these chemicals can migrate into the popcorn. PFAS are known as forever chemicals because they persist in the environment and accumulate in the human body, and their long-term exposure has been linked to various health issues. While manufacturers are working to phase them out, the concern about these substances is a valid one, especially as the body's natural detoxification processes can become less efficient with age. Furthermore, microwave popcorn often contains certain preservatives and oils that can undergo oxidation when heated. While the impact of a single serving is minimal, a consistent diet high in oxidized fats can contribute to overall oxidative stress and inflammation, potentially placing a long-term burden on the liver's detoxification pathways, which in older adults may already be working hard due to medications or existing health conditions. That is why in conversations about senior health, experts often recommend choosing air-popped or stovetop popcorn instead. You control the oil, the salt, and there is no chemical coating involved. Just plain corn kernels, a little heart-healthy oil, and your choice of seasonings. Sometimes, the small routines, like what bag you microwave, carry subtle risks that build over time. But the good news is, they are also among the easiest to change for better health. Do you ever microwave popcorn at night? Drop a 6 if that's part of your routine. No judgment, just awareness. Number 7. Artificial sweeteners. Hey, let us talk about those sugar-free labels that seem too good to be true. Whether it is diet soda, sugar-free yogurt, or a light dessert cup, these foods promise sweetness without the calories of sugar. And for many people over 60 trying to cut back on calories or manage blood sugar, that sounds like a smart move. But your body, especially your brain, does not always see it that way. Here is why. Artificial sweeteners trigger your taste receptors just like real sugar does. Your brain senses sweetness and prepares for incoming glucose, so your body may release insulin, the hormone that helps process sugar, even though no actual sugar arrives. Over time, this disconnect can potentially confuse your metabolism, increase sugar cravings, and even worsen insulin resistance, a key factor in type 2 diabetes. But it does not stop there. Many of these sweeteners can alter the beneficial bacteria in your gut, the same bacteria that help regulate digestion, mood, and inflammation. In seniors, where gut diversity naturally declines, disrupting this delicate balance can lead to bloating, irregular digestion, and potentially weaker immune responses. I have read from a team of researchers, including those at the National Institutes of Health, that long-term use of artificial sweeteners may also affect the dopamine system, the part of your brain tied to reward and satisfaction. For older adults, that may translate to less joy in eating real, nutrient-dense foods and a greater dependency on highly processed items just to feel satisfied. This is why senior health guidelines now suggest viewing artificial sweeteners not as a definitive solution, but as a habit to manage carefully. They are not entirely harmless. They are engineered signals that can trick your brain and potentially burden your hormones quietly but consistently. So what can you do instead? Reach for natural options in moderation, like small amounts of raw honey, fruit puree, or cinnamon to add flavor. Better yet, retrain your taste buds to appreciate less sweetness over time. It is not about giving up dessert entirely. It is about protecting your brain, gut, and blood sugar in ways that truly support your long-term health. Cutting sugar with artificial sweeteners might seem smart until you pair it with high-sodium frozen meals. One confuses your brain, the other overloads your organs. Let's keep going. Number 8. Frozen meals. Hello everyone. Let me ask you this. Have you ever grabbed a frozen dinner just to make things easier? Perhaps you live alone, or you are tired after a long day, and popping one of those heat and eating trays into the microwave just makes sense. It feels light, fast, and convenient. But behind that convenience is a health trade-off most people do not see coming. Many frozen meals are loaded with sodium, far beyond what your body needs in a single sitting. That extra salt is used not just for flavor, but as a preservative, to keep the meal shelf-stable for months. For someone over 60, this matters more than ever. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at flushing out sodium, and high levels can lead to fluid retention, increased blood pressure, and added stress on the heart. And it is not just salt. These meals often contain preserved meats, artificial flavorings, and color stabilizers, substances your liver and kidneys have to work harder to process. Over time, especially if eaten several times a week, this contributes to chronic inflammation, can impair circulation, and even lead to cognitive fatigue. For seniors already managing heart failure, hypertension, or kidney disease, that is a dangerous combination. When we talk about senior health, this is not just about what is easy, it is about what your body can safely handle over time. Your organs cannot afford to constantly fight through artificial ingredients, one microwave meal at a time. Here is a better plan. Batch cook a few homemade meals, freeze them in individual containers, and heat when needed. You will know exactly what is inside and give your heart, kidneys, and brain the clean fuel they deserve. Frozen dinners, do you eat them because they're easy? Hit 8 if they're in your freezer. Let's talk about real options. Number 9, packaged muffins and pastries. Hi there, can we talk about that little muffin you grab with your morning coffee? It looks harmless, soft, sweet, maybe even labeled low-fat or fiber-enriched. But the truth is, most packaged pastries are nothing more than sugar-coated traps with a long shelf life and an even longer list of ingredients your body does not need, especially after 60. Let us break it down. These pastries are often made with refined white flour, which means no fiber, no natural nutrients, just fast-burning starch that spikes your blood sugar like pouring syrup into your veins. And because there is little to no fiber or protein to slow it down, you get a quick high, followed by an even quicker crash. That crash can leave you dizzy, hungry again within the hour, and over time, exhausted. Now add refined sugar, preservatives, and artificial flavors, all designed to make these treats taste better and last longer on the shelf. But what they also do is burden your liver, overwork your pancreas, and flood your bloodstream with glucose. For older adults, this kind of repeated blood sugar spike and crash contributes to insulin resistance, fat buildup around the belly and liver, and eventually, a much higher risk of type 2 diabetes. And here is something many people overlook. High sugar diets in seniors have been linked to cognitive decline. Your brain, just like your body, does not like wild swings in blood sugar. Over time, this can lead to problems with memory, focus, and even an increased risk for dementia. I have read from neurologists at the Mayo Clinic that controlling blood sugar is one of the most effective ways to protect long-term brain health in older adults. That is why these baked goods, even in small amounts, can have a big impact on senior health. They may be light in the hand, but they weigh heavily on your metabolism. So what is the better choice? Try making your own muffins at home with whole grain flour, mashed banana, or unsweetened applesauce, and a touch of cinnamon. Or swap them out for a boiled egg and a slice of whole grain toast with almond butter. You will stay full longer, feel more energized, and give your body fuel it can actually use. Muffins hit your blood sugar fast. Processed cheese hits your blood vessels slowly. But both come in convenient wrappers, and both deserve a closer look if you're over 60. Number 10, processed cheese slices and cheese in a can. Hello everyone, let us talk about that smooth, melty slice you put on your sandwich. It is quick, it is creamy, and it melts just right. But that convenience comes at a cost. Especially for those of us over 60, Processed cheese, like individually wrapped slices of cheese in a spray can, is not real cheese in the traditional sense. It is a mixture of dairy byproducts, often with added oils, stabilizers, and emulsifiers, all blended to look and taste like cheese, but with very little actual nutritional benefit. What gives it that perfect melt? A blend of engineered compounds and fats designed for texture and shelf stability. One of the biggest issues? Sodium, and lots of it. Just one slice of processed cheese can carry up to 400 to 500 milligrams of salt. That might not seem like much, but stack a few slices into a sandwich, add some soup or crackers, and suddenly you have gone well over your daily limit. For older adults, this extra sodium accumulates quickly, raising blood pressure, stressing the kidneys, and contributing to the stiffening of blood vessels, making circulation more difficult and the heart work harder. Sodium is not the only problem. These products are often high in unhealthy fats, including saturated fats, and can sometimes contain industrially produced trans fats if made with partially hydrogenated oils. Diets high in these types of fats raise bad LDL cholesterol, which contributes to the buildup of plaque in arteries throughout the body. Over time, this can impair blood flow to the brain, contributing to memory issues, slower cognitive function, and even a higher risk of dementia. That is why, when it comes to senior health, choosing the right kind of cheese is more than a matter of taste, it is a matter of protecting your heart and brain. Processed cheese is engineered for shelf life, not human life. So what is the smarter option? Try a small portion of real cheese, like fresh mozzarella, goat cheese, or aged cheddar. They generally contain more natural protein, calcium, less sodium, and fewer artificial additives. Enjoy them in moderation and you will still get the flavor without the long-term risks. So start simple. Drink more water. Get your blood pressure checked. Pay attention to how your body feels after you eat. And if you found this helpful, follow HEALZO for more senior health guidance like this. And don't forget to share this video with someone you care about. Let's stay sharp, strong, and steady together.